So do we do like a welcome thing? I haven't prepared a dance or anything.
Yeah. No, I don't have a dance either. I don't think it translates well on podcast.
I mean, could do like an auditive dance. So this is a podcast because we discovered this new thing and we think no one else has done a podcast before. So we're just going to do one. Like this new medium that no one else has done.
There are no podcasts.
Literally none. I listen to like nothing of any podcast. Yeah. And also there's no single nerdy podcast that has every good name ever and only 3 episodes. So
no, that's
not a thing that's happening.
That's happened at all.
So we should probably introduce ourselves before we say what's happening.
Yeah.
Should we?
Yeah, we definitely should.
You go ahead.
Yeah. You want to go first?
No, you go first.
Okay. So my name is Emelie. I live in Gothenburg, Sweden. I'm a 32-year-old lady, to quote Jenna Marbles. Yeah. I'm a big-ass nerd, and that's what I do with my time.
And you love introducing yourself on podcasts.
Yeah.
That's your hobby.
I don't know what to say. Like, I never consider myself to be a particularly interesting person. So I just, I don't know what other people want to know about me. I studied a year of archaeology. I studied 3 years of experience production. I don't have a degree in either.
An attempt was made.
And that sums up my life.
And scene.
And scene.
All right. So my name's Conny. I'm 31. I currently live in Hamburg, Germany. I'm actually from the south of Germany. I am a teacher, so I have a degree in English and history and educational science. And most of the days I love my job. Depends on the students, though. I am also a big nerd, and I don't like introducing myself on podcasts. So we have that in common.
Yay!
So when we were trying to come up with the name, we were literally trying to Google our favorite nerdy phrases and stuff if they have a podcast, and literally everything has a podcast. We were like, oh yeah, let's do it's a secret door thing from Avengers of Ultron, and there's literally a secret door podcast. I'm like, what is everyone even doing? Doesn't anyone have any other hobbies?
The Secret Door podcast is apparently about cults and stuff, which I appreciate, and I will probably be checking that one out because it sounds really good.
Call your dad.
Yeah.
How many of my favorite murder references can we get in to the first episode?
Oh.
Probably a billion.
All of them.
I think we already had a meow, so that's good.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, there has been a cat meowing.
Right. So what Em came up with was a quote from our very own Nick Fury. Do you want to explain the title of the podcast?
Yeah, in I think it's Avengers. He explains the Avengers initiative and tries to give one of his famous pep talks. And says, "I still believe in heroes."
Right.
And I feel like that's fairly fitting for us.
Right?
Because
we like the Avengers.
Yeah, we like
among
heroes.
Others, right?
But I think there's some form, there's some element of being a hero either for yourself or for someone else in pretty much everything that we like.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think. So I still believe in heroes it feels hopeful in this very this darkest timeline that we're living in.
So dire.
So I feel like it's a fitting name for a podcast about nerdy stuff.
I agree. So yeah, this is going to be another nerdy podcast. We're recording this on a Sunday afternoon, so we're not drunk. We might be drunk on future episodes, so look forward to that.
Yeah.
And we've kind of decided on a concept where we talk about fandoms and nerdy stuff that we're into, but we're also going to make other people react to fandoms that they're not a part of. So Emelie and I share a couple of fandoms, but not all of them. So hopefully in the future we'll have stuff to react to. And obviously we're going to be talking about nerdy things happening and TV shows and movies and all those kind of things.
Absolutely, stuff coming up. We are also both writers for nerdsandbeyond.com.
Yes, shameless plug.
Shameless plug. So we probably will be talking about nerdy news.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
so
is basically what we cover over there.
Yeah, and from Nerds and Beyond, we, as of the moment we're recording this, we're not actually sure if we're going to be part of the website, but I'm sure we're going to be talking to like some people we work with. So should we start with like a general our first fandom, or how we started doing fandom? Or should we start about something nerdy that we're doing like right now, today, or something?
Let's start with our first fandoms.
Okay.
Like the beginning is always a good place to start.
Right. So you went first with the introduction. Should I go first with the fandom?
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Actually, I was thinking about, because like actually on Nerds and Beyond in my bio it says I joined my first fandom at the tender age of 3. And that's kind of true. Because I became obsessed with an opera when I was 3 years old. Thanks, nerd parents. I don't think I'm going to be talking about the opera. Maybe in a future episode. But I was really obsessed with it. Like, I was singing all the parts and saying all the parts. And my mom made me like a theater dollhouse where I would play it every single day. I was a weird kid.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. I had no friends. Yeah, so that's like the first thing. I guess my obsessive personality came through. And I think it's a tie for me between Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. That's such a classic, but I don't know. Are you going to be talking about Harry Potter?
For me, it's actually also a tie between Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings.
This wasn't planned.
It's probably,
we didn't talk
for me,
about
it's
that.
probably Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because you saw yesterday or something when the Sean Astin thing on Twitter trended. Like, it's like a random person was like, oh my God, Sean Astin from Stranger Things. And people were like, close to murdering her because he was in Lord of the Rings first or something, whatever. And I was like, that was kind of the first fandom I was part of. So yeah, and meaning like meeting other fans on the internet and getting into like, do you remember those message boards with like role playing and stuff? Did they have that for? I got so into it.
And oh my God, lists.
I know. We're so old. This podcast is going to be about how old we are 90% of the time.
Fanfiction.net.
Oh my God.
Anyone?
I was literally like Lord of the Rings. I think I just put it into Google or Yahoo or whatever my parents had installed on their big ass computer, and I got onto this message board, and I was really bad at English at the time. Like I almost failed 8th grade because of it. The irony. And then I got into talking about Lord of the Rings to random strangers on the internet. And over the summer holidays, because I didn't go outside apparently. And then I kind of got into it, and role playing as well. And I think I played Galadriel for like a long time. That was part of my personality. It was so weird. If I think back to it now, like, what was I doing? But yeah, I think that was my first fandom. Like, because the movies came out, obviously, and I'd read the books when I was younger. I think I was 14 at the time. 13? I don't remember. But yeah, my dad was into it and gave me the books. And then the movies came out, and I just got really, really obsessed with it. I think I've seen The Two Towers about 300 times. I'm not exaggerating at this point. I can speak the entire Fellowship of the Ring, including sound effects. I used to do it to make time pass when I was bored. Be like, oh, Yama, press the I. And then it just starts.
Yeah, no, I could quote the entire Lord of the Rings as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it came to a point where my family refused to watch it with me.
Yeah.
Because I would just watch it obsessively every night.
I know.
They were like, are you watching this again?
Yeah.
I'm like, yes, I am. Like, don't judge me.
I was too young to go into the midnight previews of the movies, and I had to call my dad, literally. I wasn't in a cult, but I had to call my dad. So he would come to the cinema and sit with me during the midnight preview, and he fell asleep and snored so loudly. That was great.
Oh
I know.
God. There are so many parallels
I know.
here. Like, I first read. I didn't start with Lord of the Rings. I started with The Hobbit.
Me too.
Because my mom lent it to me because I always read like a ton of
Yeah.
books. I was like, I didn't have a lot of friends. I was the like the nerdy girl. At any given moment I had like 2 to 3 books in my backpack, aside from just like my school books.
Yeah.
And like I think the librarians in our local library, they knew me. Like, because I would come in and I would go straight to like the science fiction
Yeah.
fantasy
That's
corner.
some
Like
mood.
that's where I went. That's where I borrowed books from. I think I read all of it at this
Yeah.
point.
How old were you when you started?
When I read The Hobbit, I was 12. I must have been 12 because I was in 6th grade. And we like, because I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, I don't have anything to read, and we were going on a family trip to Thailand. And we were going to be there for 2 weeks, and I was like, Mom, I don't have anything to read. Like, I need to bring something to read with me. And she was like, oh, okay, let me see what you can borrow. And she's like, okay, well, you can borrow my copy of The Hobbit, which is from like 1973 or something, I think.
Oh my god!
It's beautiful.
You can make so much money with that
green,
now.
I still have it. And she was like, okay, so you can borrow this. I'm like, yeah, okay. She's like, if you like this, like there are more books in the same world, but you can start with this. And when we got to Thailand, I think I read all of it in like 2 days. And it's kind of funny that there are so many Swedish people who go on vacation in Thailand, like just like a stereotypical like charter thing. And so many people bring books with them, but they don't want to bring them back. So we actually ended up going to secondhand stores, and they had sections
that's crazy.
with Swedish books. Crazy. That was really insane. I didn't find any more like fantasy books there. I read like a David Boone's book or something from there. But anyway, when I came back, I was like, I want more of this, and Mom's like, okay, well, I have the other books, but I'm not gonna loan them to you. And she's like, and I was like, why? Like, I see them in the bookshelf. Why can't I read them? And she's like, well, and she picked one up and showed me, and they're so well read that like pages are falling out. Because Mom, like, that was Mom's go-to book when she was at university. So she's like, I'm not gonna let you read these. We're just gonna go to the bookstore and get you your own copies because they still have them. Like, this is such a big thing that they're still in print. So I got them, and she's like, it's not gonna be as easily read as The Hobbit, but just promise me you'll stick it through for, like, if you don't like it after you've gone through 150 pages, then you can stop reading it. But if you like it, like, she's like, please stick it out. It's gonna be boring for, like, 75 pages. Because that's, like, all the description of, like, this is what the forest looks like.
Oh my god.
And everything like that.
Yeah. All the songs.
It is literally, it is so boring. Like, the start of Lord of the Rings is really boring.
Well, he wasn't a fictional author. He's just like, I'm a linguist and I like weird shit. So.
Exactly. So that's where I started with that. And then I went on the internet and I was like, I was learning Elvish.
Oh my god, me too.
And like I started like every time we went into like a fabric store or anything with my mom, I would go to the pattern section, and they would have these like pattern books on medieval dresses with like, you know, the long sleeves. And I'll be like, Mom, can't I please? And she's like, no, you're never gonna finish, like, you're never gonna sew a dress like that. Like, you don't need a pattern because you're never gonna make it. And I was like, yeah, okay. And I put it back. And I think she cracked it one time and got me a pattern thing, and I still haven't made a dress. So she was right.
No time like the present.
But yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen at one point. I'm gonna make my own dress for sure.
And you do a bit of cosplay, right? So maybe.
Yeah, I do cosplay, but it's mostly the most advanced thing I've made so far is like hand painting a pattern on a top, which took me fucking ages. But yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that's where I started. I didn't really talk to like that many people though. Like, it wasn't really in the fandom. It was mostly just micro obsessing over the books by myself and occasionally talking to my mom about it, because again, I was a very lonely child.
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of friends. I did a lot of activities, but I didn't have a lot of friends.
Yeah.
And then when I came down with a stomach flu in like 8th grade, and mom came home the first day and she was like, I found these books and you like wizardry and magic and stuff.
Oh my
and she had
God.
found like the first 3 Harry Potter books.
Yeah,
She'd
yeah.
found them in like the recommendation section at the bookstore, and she was like, I'm gonna get these for my daughter
Yeah.
because she
I
feels
remember
miserable
that
right
too.
now and she needs something to distract herself. I finished the first one in one day. That's all I had to do. And for like I was out of school for a week because I was just like I couldn't get out of bed.
Mm.
And I think I finished the 3 of them in like 2.5 days or something. And when I was finished with Prisoner of Azkaban, I just started back over with the first one again.
Yeah.
And just like reread. I think I reread them like 3 times in a week or
Yeah.
something, and then I was sold. And that's when I started with like fanfiction.net, Yahoo mailing list,
I was so
LiveJournal,
emotionally
all of
scarred
that.
off of Harry Potter fanfiction. You don't even know. Like, I didn't know what, kids back in our day, that wasn't called slash fanfiction. It was called lemon fanfiction. And 14-year-old me didn't know what she was clicking on. And I think it was like a Harry Snape fanfiction or something. It was so gross. And I was 14 and like, what is happening? I don't like any of this. I vividly remember there was like an orange background and like black writing on it. It was terrible. But
Oh yeah, those archives that weren't like what were they called? Were the Angel Fire?
oh yeah.
Or something
Yes.
where they had like their own websites. Like
Yeah.
this is my site where I put my fan fiction up on.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that was actually
The worst.
oh my god. I don't even want to.
No. That's a chapter of my life.
Think about
I'm
it
like,
anymore.
no. Well, Harry Potter was actually completely, like, almost the same for me, because my mom picked up the books for me and she said, you might like this. And then I think that was actually the same summer when, was it Prisoner of Azkaban or Goblet of Fire that came out? I don't actually remember. But it came out in English in July and it came out in German in October. So I was like, I'm not going to wait 5 months, 4. I'm not really good at math. I'm not going to wait longer if I can read it in English.
Yeah.
So I got it in English and a dictionary and I just started reading it. And I think that was the beginning of the end for me. For Harry Potter, at least.
Yeah, I think I did the same because I'm from such a small town that we didn't really have like our bookstore didn't really have an international section.
Yeah.
They had like an international section for like scientific books.
Right.
But not for any sort of casual reading.
Yeah.
So we were visiting a town over and we went to, because they have like, it's called the Academy Bookstore and they have science books and stuff like that for university and stuff, but they also have they have the regular books as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked in and was walking around and I saw Harry Potter and there was like a sign with like new releases and I was like, oh my god, just like this gasp, and Mom's like, what's going on, are you okay?
I know.
And I just like grabbed the top book and like, there's a new Harry Potter book out,
right? Like the young
like,
fans don't know the struggle.
It's in English.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't care, I want to read
this
it now.
Yeah, and I remember feeling so weird reading it because, like, I don't know if they did it in Swedish, but in German they translated the names sometimes. So, like, they actually called Sirius Black Sirius, like, the German word for black and stuff like that. It was so weird.
They didn't do that. I think the thing that I struggled most with was because they had translated the lessons.
Right.
So Transfiguration was like, it was something else, and Defense Against the Dark Arts was basically just like everything translated word for word, which is, it's so weird now. Like, I can't read Swedish fantasy books anymore.
Yeah.
I read everything in English because I know that if I like it, I'm gonna eventually fall into the trap of being like, hi, new fandom.
It's me.
Who dis? It's me, ya boy.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, so that's,
yeah.
Like, I don't read stuff in Swedish anymore.
I mean, if it is in German originally, I would read it. I read like a really good German, like, dystopian novel recently. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think we need like a separate Harry Potter episode though.
Yeah.
Like I don't think this is all going to fit in
sure.
here. Let's not unpack this.
For sure.
But yeah, a lot of the Rings was like
here.
coming back to that was like one of the fast fandoms where I got really obsessed like with like one specific actor. I just remember that because conveniently a couple of weeks ago I ran into said actor. Literally ran into. Not like, hey, there's this person. No, I ran into said actor at the fucking airport in Heathrow. And I was so embarrassed that I just ran. I was just like, sorry, and then I ran. You can figure out the actor. His name starts with an O. But that was the fucking worst. I think my 14-year-old self has been cursing me since July 10th, I think, is when it was.
She's like, why?
You should have married him. Sorry, Katy Perry, he's mine. I claimed it, like... Yeah. So I was really obsessed with him. And, like, actually him, not Legolas, because, like, he's blonde. But also, I watched everything he was in. And I'm still watching everything he's in with, like, a fond memory of how much I loved his face. But, like...
Yeah.
He's gonna be in a new thing, isn't he? Didn't you write about that one?
Carnival Row.
Oh, yeah, still haven't...
It actually looks with Cara Delevingne. I don't know how to say her last name.
Yes. I don't know. Delevingne.
Delevingne.
The eyebrow girl.
Delevingne? I don't know how to say her last name. She's a brilliant actress.
She is.
I don't know how to say her last name.
Yeah.
But it actually looks really good because it's like magical.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Like I need to watch it.
And it's also like Victorian London, which
God, it's my jam. I've recently rewatched The Alienist just for the Victorian part of it. I was like, yes. Yes. I was in my Daniel Brühl face because like he's my boy.
Yeah.
And he's coming back. Oh, we were talking about that a different time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it. That was Lord of the Rings. Crazy. I try to remember anything else weird that is attached to that fandom. I have like a ton of Lord of the Rings jewelry that I still own. My friends gave me like the Hobbit thing that they get from Galadriel. What is it called?
Oh, the leaf?
The leaf. Yeah, my friend gave that to me. My friends gave that to me when I moved to Japan. And I was like, I still have that.
I actually, like, it's kind of funny because my family gives me a lot of shit for being such a nerd. Yet they still, like, they are such enablers that it's like they should not be giving me shit because like half of the stuff that I have I wouldn't even have if it hadn't been for them.
Yeah.
3 Christmases in a row, my brother gave me the extended edition box set of the Lord of the Rings movies with like the collectible figures and everything.
Oh, that's so cool.
1 year I got the One Ring on like a chain.
Yes, that's the one I have.
With like a little it had a little stand.
Yeah.
That was it had a little Mount Doom stand.
Oh my god, so cute.
Where you put the ring in and it had like a little detector thing in the bottom where you put the ring.
Oh, and did lit it up?
The ring in, it started to glow.
Oh my god, yes, I had the same thing for the Galadriel ring. I had the same thing for Nenya.
Yeah.
It was purple.
And it was like, I mean, I didn't get any of these things for myself. They were gifted to me. And I still have all of the things in my apartment. Yeah. Like it has survived moving around all these years. So
I still have the jewelry I have.
It's not my fault that I am as nerdy as I am, because like my mom got me started with Lord of the Rings, and then everyone just keeps adding on.
Yeah.
And like my mom and my brother were the ones who recommended the fandom we met through as well.
So suspense. Is that a good segue into the thing?
I think.
Oh my god, we didn't plan any of this, by the way. I haven't written anything down. But
no.
So. Do you want to tell the story, the chilling story, or should I? Okay, so we met through a mutual fandom. In case you're wondering why people from Germany and Sweden meet, it's probably because of a fandom. We met because of Supernatural, which ironically is also a fandom we're both not a part of anymore. Yeah. You're gonna take all of this with like not a grain, but like a mountain of salt, please, because that's my jam. No, we met, and actually not like at the Supernatural convention, but we met at a thing that is a festival of bands who have members that were once part of Supernatural. Are we name dropping?
Yeah,
Sabine,
let's name drop it.
Rockwood Festival. which is
Yeah.
a thing that happens in Germany. And I think Emily and I met at the second one, which was in 2016, through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
And I think we were just like, hey, we don't know any people. Let's just sit at the same table. And I think that was it.
Yeah, that was pretty much it. Like, I wouldn't have gone to the festival if it hadn't been for our mutual friend.
Yeah.
And she was like, it's okay, I know people who are going. So, like, we won't be, like, these two odd people who don't talk to anyone else but ourselves.
Yeah.
Not that that's anything bad. Like, I've done conventions like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it is a lot more fun to go to an event like Rockwood if you have a bigger group of friends.
Yeah. Or at least know someone who has like a stable group of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we were introduced and I was so intimidated.
I'm very cool, guys. I'm so cool.
I was like, but the thing is, like, I don't have the best self-confidence in the world. And when I see people who look like they do at least, I'm like, oh my gosh, she has it so together.
I mean,
and I'm
clearly.
intimidated.
I don't even know what I look like at that point. We should find pictures and post them. I don't know if we took a picture at the first one.
Find.
Yeah. No.
I don't think we took a picture.
We might have taken
a
one with
picture.
Nell. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Like,
I have a picture of me now.
We should find it.
I don't know if I have.
Yeah. So that festival was.
I don't know if I think I have my photo up somewhere, and Sabine was an angel because I forgot to order the digital ones.
Yeah.
And I emailed her.
She's literally a saint.
Like months after.
Yeah.
The second one we went to together,
like, by the way,
like the 2017 one,
yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, I realized I forgot to order my ones from 2016. Is there any possibility, like, I sent her the like pictures of my offs, and she's like, oh yeah, she's like, don't forget again, but here they are, PayPal, like, do the checkout thing,
yeah.
And just email me when you sent the money and I'll send them over.
Yeah.
And like she's an angel.
She is. She runs the event, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. Yeah, and I think that's how we met, and like that's kind of how our group of friends formed, because it was just like it was small groups of people that I had met before, and I just kind of combined them into one because I'm lazy like that. And like now we have like a core group of people who go every year, so that's pretty cool. I think we both have considered ourselves out of the supernatural fandom for like over a year now.
Yeah, the last episode I actually I watched was episode 5 of season 12.
I don't even remember what happens in season 12.
It's the episode where they go back in time to try and kill Hitler.
Oh my god. I forgot about that.
That's like the one thing that I remember. Like they go back in time to try and kill Hitler.
Of course they do.
I was like, when they did that, I was like,
goodbye.
I have to take a minute. And kind of unpack all of this. I just never started watching again.
I think for me it was the Scooby-Doo episode. That was the last one I watched. And I think I was just like, we've had a good run, but I think I'm done. Like for all the Americans who are listening, I have literally no connection to Scooby-Doo. It wasn't on TV when I was a kid. I don't care about it. I think it's weird. I'm sorry if I'm losing friends over this, but for me it was just, it was too much. And I wasn't invested in it anymore anyway. And I think, like, no judgment to people who still are. We have like a lot of friends who are still into it. But for me,
I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with still being in the supernatural fandom. Absolutely not.
No.
It's just that we kind of I will always look back on Supernatural with fondness.
Yeah.
Because I have made all of my best friends through this fandom.
I mean, same.
But at the same time, you have to know when it's time to be like, okay, you know what? I'm not gonna continue watching a show where I feel slightly frustrated every episode.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I know people are like super sad because it's ending, but I think it might actually be like a cleansing experience for everyone involved.
Yeah.
And I got into it pretty late. I got into it like 5 or 6 years ago. So it wasn't, I think, like season 8 or 9. I don't. You think you've been in it longer? I think.
Yeah, I started watching actually on Halloween of 2010.
Poetic.
I just know that because Halloween's not really something that's celebrated in Sweden.
Yeah.
But I was at university for experience production at the time, and I was also working weekends and like night shifts as a blackjack dealer at local clubs, and I had been loaned out from my town to a neighboring town because they were short on dealers for that night.
Yeah.
So I'd been at a hotel, and then I was supposed to go back home to my apartment, but my apartment had been flooded because my toilet had backed up. So my apartment was my toilet was literally like, it wasn't affixed to the floor anymore. Like the people had come and taken it off. And then it wasn't until after they'd taken it off that they were like, do you have somewhere else to stay this weekend? Because we're not going to be able to finish this now. And luckily, like, I lived in an apartment in the same town that I grew up in. I was like, yeah, it's fine. I'll just go back home to my parents and sleep in my childhood bedroom. That's fine. So I went back, and my parents were also out of town. I don't know if they were on vacation or whatever they were doing. And I came back on Halloween. It was a Sunday, and I was like, okay, don't have anything to do. My mom and my brother have recommended the show to me for so long, and I had ignored them because I was on a Buffy binge at the moment.
Also,
and I was
classic.
like, I'm just gonna watch the first episode and see what I think of it. And basically, as soon as like Dad's on a hunting trip and he hasn't been home in a few days, I was like, fuck, I'm sold. Fuck me, fuck.
I'm using that soundbite forever now.
No, but that's like the moment where I knew it was sold. And then I went on my first Supernatural convention. I went to Asylum 7 in Birmingham.
What year was that?
2011.
Oh, early.
Rob was there, and Misha was there, and Julian Richings was there.
And Swain was there, weren't they?
Swain were there, and
Oh my God.
that's the first time, like, that's when I fell for Swain as well.
Yeah. Oh.
SNS wasn't really a thing then,
Mm-hmm.
but Birmingham, like, Asylum always tended to have, like, a Saturday musical act.
Yeah.
And I think Jason might have been there
Right.
before. I knew he was after that.
Jason Mance, for the people who don't know.
Yeah, they had flown over the entirety
Yeah.
of Loudon Swain for that event.
Oh, that's amazing.
And I was just like, yeah, it was a pretty surreal experience for a first convention, I feel like, because we managed to get a meet and greet, and like a meet and greet with all of the guests.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was like, I think I paid like £80 for it.
Imagine today.
For a meet and greet with all the guests.
You could get like
£80.
nothing. You get a Sharpie for £80.
Yeah, and that was like,
Yeah.
so we basically, this event was also Halloween, so like it marked a year since I started watching.
Yeah.
It was really, like, it was so funny because we were at these round tables in a circular room, and everyone came in and like they did the classical switch thing, and Misha just had West, basically. So when Misha came to my table, someone was like, oh, so how's West? And Misha's like, oh, he's great! And like picks up his phone and he's like, do you want to see a picture?
Oh my God. So
and
cute.
we were like, yeah, we do. So he just pulls up a picture and starts passing his phone around the table.
That's smart,
And when
Misha.
it's like halfway down the table, he's like, oh yeah, this is a completely safe environment to do this in, right? And we're like,
Amazing.
Misha, you should maybe have thought about this before you started passing your phone around. But yeah, I've held Misha Collins' phone.
That's great.
And then, like, they had, since it was Halloween, they had these, like, big bowls of candy on every table. And the poor person, I don't remember who was Misha's, like, handler at the convention, but I felt so sorry for her. Because Misha did the thing where he just does not listen at all to anything that anyone says. And Misha started a candy war.
Of course he did.
He basically, like, he picked a candy and he turned around and just, I think he lobbed it at, I think it was Rob. And just hit him, like, in the side of the face while he was talking to someone else.
Honey.
And then it was just, like, it started, like, yeah, they're like, no.
That's a cool memory to have, though. It's cool.
It was actually really funny, and I think that was such a positive experience that I knew that like other than that, the organization was pretty horrible. Everything was like 2 to 3 hours delayed.
R.I.P. Asylum.
Yeah, this like the death of Asylum might have been a good thing, because it was just not that well managed. But it was still like I was like, oh my god, this is so bad. I'm never coming back. And then as soon as I got home, I'm like, okay, when's the next one?
Yeah, that's the convention thing.
I have to go to the next one. I don't.
It's my first and only one.
I need to do this again.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to remember how I got into it. I think like our mutual friend Ines got me into it, kind of, because she started watching it like the year before me, and I was like graduating university, and it's a long process if you want to be a teacher. Like you have to write a thesis, and you have to take lots of exams. It takes like an entire year basically. And I think I was on a break, and I was looking for something to binge, and I asked her, oh, there's this DVD box set, and it's like the first 8 seasons, and it's cheap. Should I get it? Like, will I watch it more than once? And she's like, yeah, it's okay. I got the DVD thing, and funnily enough, my relationship with Supernatural started earlier because, like, when everyone was still on Tumblr in 2012, I saw a picture, I think, of Misha, and I was like, well, damn, this guy is like 100% what I want in life, and I think if I ever watch Supernatural, this is the thing that's going to happen. And I read that he was going to be in the 4th season. So for me, my Supernatural experience, and yes, you can hate me, was getting through the first 3 seasons until I knew that Misha Collins was going to be in it. And I didn't hate the first seasons, but I think I've only watched them like once or twice. I'm a fake fan. I'm not even in the fandom anymore. Don't kill me.
To be fair, though, I still think Lazarus...
it's such a great episode. Like the entrance itself.
It's one of my favorite episodes.
Amazing. I hope I can watch it back one day and like it. I think at the moment I just need a long break. And and I really, really got into it after season 4 and like binge watched the whole thing and joined Gishwiz and did like the entire thing and trying to get into a convention. And then going to a convention the year after. And before the convention even, I went to the Jason and Rob concert that they did. And they weren't even their own band back then. And it was just, meeting Rob was like one of the key things in my entire life. Because he's such an angel. Like, this is a Rob Benedict appreciation podcast. We love him very much. And I just remember he was so sweet at the concert. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go home and buy a photo with you at the convention that I was going to. And he's like, oh no, don't spend the money on me. Please don't do that. And I'm like, that was like such a Rob thing to do.
Oh, he's such a sweetheart.
He's the best. And I went to the first convention. I went to JibCon in Rome. And I think that was the beginning of the end. Like I was at the con for like 10 minutes. I was like, yeah, I'm coming back next year. And I did until this year, literally. Although this year, we didn't go for Supernatural. We went for a different person that we're going to talk about at another point, because this will be an entire episode. Yeah.
We will probably talk about that person many times.
I know. If you want a hint, he looks a bit like Misha Collins, I heard. Anyway, and I really like conventions. I went to a couple different ones. I went to one in Vancouver and everything, and I had like so many great experiences with the fandom. I had a couple bad ones, but mostly they were good. And I met like a group of amazing people that I'm still friends with, like all around the globe. And I'm super thankful for that. But I'm just not invested in the story of it anymore. Like, I think the reason I stayed with it for so long was because I love the cast and not because I love the show.
Yeah.
That felt weird. And I think that's amazing about the Supernatural fandom. Like, conventions are sort of a big part of it, and they're so expensive, so people feel left out unless they don't go anymore, and it feels weird.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I know that a lot of people asked me, ironically, a lot of religious people asked me why I went to conventions.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, it's kind of like, I know you might call me stupid for saying this, but a fan going to a convention for a thing that they're a fan of, it's kind of like a person who's really religious going to church.
It's kind of like that.
Because a lot of it's about meeting people who enjoy or like the same thing that you do, and maybe have the same viewpoints as you do. Like, I know that Supernatural, like, not just a Supernatural fandom, but every fandom, it's more complicated than that. Like, not everyone gets along, and that's fine. You can still be a fan of the same thing.
Yeah.
But the chances of you finding someone who has similar interests to you is so much higher if you go to a convention for that thing.
Yeah.
Or even if you just go to, like, a general convention. Like, I don't...
Like a big Comic-Con thing. Yeah.
Yeah, just like a big, like, Comic-Con, or like, we have the Sci-Fi Fair here in Gothenburg, and we have just recently gotten a Comic-Con as well. I've lost count of how many, like, Dean cosplayers and Cass cosplayers and Sam cosplayers.
Yeah.
Like, I used to cosplay, like, the Human Impala, and I don't, like, I've lost count of how many times people have come up to me and be like, oh, wow, this is so cool, I love Supernatural.
Yeah.
You don't even know the person's name, but
Yeah.
you talk to them for a bit, and you feel like you're connected to someone, even though you might not know them that much.
That's true. And especially Supernatural is so weird because, like, the general public doesn't really know it exists. Like, it's not a TV show people talk about, but you sometimes see people and you're like, oh, this girl has a Supernatural logo on her bag, or she has, like, a campaign hoodie on, or, like, they're everywhere. But sort of hidden from the main public, because, like...
Yeah, that's actually how I made one of my first friends outside of my workplace. Was a girl, like, we were waiting at the same bus stop, and I was wearing a hoodie with, it was like a Dean Winchester print on the back. It's still one of my favorite hoodies because it's so soft. And I turned around because I'd been drinking a can of Coke, and I turned around to go and throw it, like, in the recycling bin. And when I turned back around and went back, like, under the roof of the bus stop, she was like, is that Dean Winchester?
Oh my god.
And I was like, yeah, it is. And she's like, oh my god. And this was like at 5 a.m. in the morning because I was working at a casino at the time.
Yeah.
And she had been out partying, and we were just like, we lived in the same neighborhood, same part of Gothenburg, and we were waiting on the same bus. So we traded tumblers.
Oh my god. That's so 2012 of you. Way. Yeah.
It was literally, it was like in it was in the beginning of the summer of 2012.
Oh my god.
Basically.
Called it.
It was so funny, but like she's still one of my very good friends. I feel like we don't really talk that much anymore, which sucks. But
well, it doesn't indicate how well we're friends.
I still consider her a good friend, and that's just because she stopped me. She was like, "Is that Dean Winchester on your back?" I was like, "Heck yeah, it is."
That's cool.
And it turned out that we'd both been at Asylum 7, but we'd missed each other.
Yeah,
we hadn't met. She was like, "I was at this convention." I was like, "Oh my god, what?" What? I was there as well. She was like, what?
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, Supernatural, I wanted to say something, I think I forgot. Oh yeah, no, like, when you become friends with people on Facebook, like, old people still use Facebook, and I do too. And, like, I become friends with, like, colleagues or something, and they go through your pictures like the stalkers they are, and they're like, oh my god, you took a picture with Dean from Gilmore Girls. And I'm like, yeah. I did.
Yeah, no, he's Sam from Supernatural in that one.
Listen, actually, Gilmore Girls and Dean on Gilmore Girls was one of the reasons I put up Supernatural for so long, because I hated the character on Gilmore Girls, like, with a passion. He was so annoying. Sorry. But, like, no, I think. Sorry, my cat just scratched me. Thanks. Yeah, that was... someone asked me once if all those pictures I'd taken were, like, with cardboard cutouts. And I'm like... Wow. This is not how it works. This is not how any of this works.
Yeah,
it's a wax figure.
My mom, like, when she saw my pictures with because I had photo ops with Julian Richings, Rob, and Misha that first convention that I went to. My mom was like, "Oh my god, that's so you, just like getting pictures with people." And I'm like, "Mom, you know I had to literally pay for these pictures, right? Like, it's not like." I didn't just, like, find out where they were. Like, there's a backdrop. These are, like, taken with lighting and stuff. Like, it's not... I didn't just find them in the lobby and ask them for a picture. Yeah. It wouldn't look like this if I had.
Yeah, that was such a crazy concept.
You had to pay for it.
Yeah. We should do, like, a special episode just on conventions, because we feel like we have, like, a billion stories for that.
Oh, definitely. That's gonna be an episode of all of its own.
Okay, guys, so this was the first episode. We have like different plans for how this is going to pan out. We have social media stuff coming up. We will post this on social media, obviously, and link you to the channels. That sounded ominous, but we will. Like, we're literally recording this. We just have a title and we don't have a logo yet, and we don't know if we're part of a network yet. This is just the thing. If you listen, share it with people you like or you don't like. I mean, not the boss of you.
It could go any way,
Right?
really. And even if we're not on a network, we're still gonna put this out.
Yeah.
It doesn't really, like, you
That
don't have to
doesn't.
be on a network.
And we're going to come up with like a cool signing off phrase that's going to be super spontaneous, but we don't have one now. So we'll see you
Yeah.
next episode.
And just, like, be kind to each other in the meantime or something.
Like, exactly. Unless people are assholes. Don't be nice to assholes.
Yeah, no, be kind, but take no shit.
Exactly.
How about
That's a
that?
good end for now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye!